the 60s across the region. My name is Glenn Woods. Thanks for joining me. So for this segment of the program, it's Cheyenne, Wyoming we go, where Mayor Orr is standing by because she and I are hatching a plot to have the Lady Alex lead the Wyoming delegation to invade Area 51 and finally get answers. Is that what? That's basically it, right?
I think that's great.
I think it's positive. Yeah. I mean, if there's anybody who should be leading the charge in it, she's all about this. She's really enthusiastic. Might as well go ahead and do it there. So there's our Wyoming representation there. Okay. So, Marian, apparently you're taking big, expensive gifts from people for all sorts of huge favors that you're going to do in return or something like that. What happened?
There are no favors.
Okay.
And it's not a gift. So here's the situation. So Cowboy Dodge has been a sponsor for Frontier Days for quite some time. They're an official sponsor again this year, and they're under new ownership. Dealing Doug Moreland from primarily Colorado, but he's excited to be in Cheyenne. And as usual, they provided the Cheyenne committee men with Dodge Ram trucks, and Doug thought that the mayor should have one too. I mean, as mayor, I'm really the chief ambassador for Cheyenne Frontier Days. It's a really big economic boost for our community. It's a long-standing tradition, 123 years. And so Doug showed up at my office last week with a surprise, and it's a beautiful white Dodge truck, and it's personalized, and so everybody will know where the mayor is driving during Frontier Days. And do I support Cheyenne Frontier Days? Absolutely. And do I support the sponsors? Absolutely. And so this isn't a purchase. This it's not no other further considerations were made. It's simply a loaned vehicle for the duration of Frontier Days.
Frontier Days. And so, in other words, is that what you would be in during the Frontier Day parade, to be driving down the road, waving your hand, hello, as you always do? Is that, or would you be in some other vehicle?
Yeah, the pancake breakfast, certainly out at the rodeo.
Yeah.
It's just all about Frontier Day.
Okay, so now the criticism comes in, because I think, well, isn't Cowboy Dodge looking for a new piece of land? Are there leases and purchases from that dealership for the city? And so they worry. You know how a guy like Dealin' Doug, I mean, what he does is he builds relationships, and a lot of times that involves, well, you give people gifts, you do them favors, you get them on your good side, then you can get a good deal out of it. And so there are those who are concerned about the size of the gift, even if it's a temporary thing, that it might have some undue influence on some of the things that Dodge will get out of the city.
Well, actually, that whole transaction, if you will, about him purchasing land of which he's going to build a new dealership, that's done and closed.
Okay.
There's nothing. I think there's nothing that could be exchanged for that, and and as far as there are no violations of any purchasing rules. Again, this wasn't purchased, and as an elected official, I actually fall under state statute.
Mm-hmm.
The state statute allows for anything that's returned after 30 days is no longer a consideration.
Okay.
So
it's under the 30 days, in other words.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So what about then? There's something, I'm trying to remember what it is. It's in the city code. It's like a little booklet you guys get when you become mayor and city councilman about gifts and things like that. And I'm trying to remember what that was.
Well, we have, and actually it's for city employees.
Okay.
And as elected officials, both city council and myself are governed by state statute.
Okay. So you're saying that since you're under the 30 days, it's okay, and you don't worry about any undue influence after that. But let me ask you, for those people who worried about the size of the gift, can you understand what their concern was?
Well, I guess I really don't, because it's a loaner. It's nothing personal. It's again part of their sponsorship, and we couldn't put Cheyenne Frontier Dogs on without their sponsorship. And there's criticism too that that it's additional advertising for one particular business over another. Mm-hmm. And again, as mayor, I show up for for business events, if you will, celebrating say 100 years of Cheyenne State Bank, being in business here, and that doesn't mean that I'm showing favoritism towards any one bank. It's just it's about community relationships and supporting our Cheyenne Frontier Day sponsors.
Okay, so since there was a bit of a dust-up about it across the internet over the course of the weekend, so does the vehicle stay with you, or does it go back?
Oh, it goes back.
Okay.
After Frontier Day. Yeah,
after Frontier. So you're going to, because I did hear somebody sent me a note saying, well, it's still parked in her front yard. So then you're just going to continue to drive it until the end of Frontier Days. That's when it's returned, and that's under the 30-day mark, as far as you're concerned.
Well, yeah, that's true. And it's parked in front of my car, in front of my house, excuse me, because there really aren't too many. I don't have time to go to the Slack, contestant kind of things this week so much. So, when things really get going full swing this weekend, then it will be driven. I bet I put less than 25 miles on it. And again, then it'll go back.
Okay. All right. Well, okay.
While I'm on the air,
sure,
the truck will be driven, obviously, on Cheyenne roads. And as you've heard with our weather, we miss you down here, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The rains have been horrible. We're still working on potholes. We'll be working on it probably all summer long. But especially downtown in the parades, we've done some temporary patchwork that isn't pretty, but it was for safety reasons with some rebar that had been exposed. And so we've got those patches, up, and we'll be doing major repairs and throughout the summer once Frontier Days is over and once we get a little bit drier weather.
Okay, and so as long as I got you on that topic, then let's get back to, I've heard some complaints, and I'm just reading what people, you can believe everything you see on the internet, so obviously this is important stuff. There's more complaints about chip sealing, but there's a lot of crumbling roads down there that you're trying to deal with, so what's the latest on that?
Well, the chip seal on Nationway definitely failed. We're working with engineering to replace that, and certainly working with the folks that we have that we used in the past for that. And then again with weather, we just have we have a really aggressive plan. Certainly after Frontier Days, 20th Street is going to is going to be fixed. I think it's one of our worst roads, but again we have a different engineer than we did in the former projects, and so we're moving forward. And I really do want to encourage people, especially with the potholes, to make those reports. It's really critical, and that system really works. I tested it myself, and if you report a pothole, that's how we know about them and can get them patched up.
Okay. Marian, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Glenn. Take care.
So, well, there we